Hey guys, Vitek here, Blueberry Hill. So here we are, continuation of the roof process. This is November 25th to the 29th. I'm doing the video on the 30th. And here we go. We're doing. We finished up pretty much the rafters. We're putting in the kickouts for the overhangs, roughly 2-foot overhang, and I'm kind of doing the an L-shaped structure on the kickouts. And then hopefully we'll get the sheeting up there. We did end up having some weather on the 27th and 28th, which basically couldn't work on anything. It was raining for pretty much the whole entire 2 days. But anyway, we had the front section done. You'll see that in the next few minutes here. I'm putting the kickouts in, and I'll throw in the overhang and then the first set of panels. And that actually weatherproofed just the overhang itself. And then on the 29th we finished snapping up all the panels and almost getting it completed. It is kind of dried in now. We have tape on it, etc. We don't have the trim on each side, left and right side of the roof, but that's minor stuff compared to what we were working on. So this part wasn't too much fun. I was standing on a scaffold on top of a ladder doing the first set of kickouts. It was a lot easier once we got the panels on the roof, so I could actually slide things around and put them in. Not terribly crazy, but everything was pretty legit. Just stretching out over rafters isn't my my cup of tea, I guess. But anyway, we're getting through it. So the lumber supply place didn't have 20-foot 2x4s, so I decided to do the LSL versions. They're nice and true and straight, so what we did is we put up a couple of the kickouts, clamped it down, and here I'm trying to get a measurement to the corner because I have to do a 45 on it. I might have already done that. Did a 45 so that I can tie it into the left and right side of the roof. But anyway, once we get all the this all trued up, then we start slapping in the rest of the kickouts. That was a lot easier than actually putting the kickouts first and then trying to snap a line and put the trim on there. This will be covered up with a fascia, so these are 2x4s. We believe the fascia, I'm tossing between 6-inch and 8-inch, so we'll see which way it goes. So Angie's helping me do the trim work here, and then we'll do the rest of the kickouts once we have the front trim on. That kind of trued everything up, so we didn't have to measure too much on doing the kickouts. And the kickouts are going on 2x12, little recess, pop them in there and just hammer them up. Here I'm doing a sister to the center section so we could tie in the rest of the trim. So I've already cut the 45 on the end. I'm just going to be up there to hold it, and then we're going to connect the 2x4 trim to the kickouts, and then we'll come back and do the center section you see in front of me right there. Another sister on the trim, and then we put in the centerpiece. So I cut this several times. I tend to cut things a little long and then come back and shorten them up, so that's easier. So the rest went pretty good. Angie was there handing me the kickouts. A couple of them had to be sandwiched up a little teeny bit. Just this LSL is pretty straight, however it does sag a little bit, so that's one thing we had to keep track of. The roof is, mostly 99% straight. Anyway, everything's good. So now we're just moving forward, put all the kickouts, and finish up this section of the roof. So here we are, we're finally getting to the panels. So 2 days before this I actually put the first section of panels on. For some reason or other the camera didn't capture any of that. I have no idea what happened, but the GoPro kind of screwed up, or my fingers did, whatever. But anyway, so I came back on the 29th. It's pretty cold, it's about 50 degrees out there, and then no big deal, but you can see the wind blowing. It was pretty freaking windy that day. I did put a couple panels up kind of sliding up on the roof, and they fell twice. So it was pretty windy. So the panel install was pretty straightforward. Just threw them up there, and then basically all the rafters are on 16 on center. I did line that one so I could actually find a rafter on the very edge, because I had no real reference point. There's marks, you can see dots on the zip panel system, and once you line things up, you just basically shoot through where the marks are. It works pretty great. I'm quite impressed with the paneling. This is supposed to be put up with weather for 6-month exposure, etc., etc. Plus it's made out of different glues and stuff, so pretty cool. Yeah, I missed, I think 2 rafters didn't line up center on center. They were a little warped here and there. Tried to straighten them out with blocking, but didn't quite work out. Anyway, the rest is just a lot of nailing. So for some reason I made kickouts, not enough of them for the left side of the roof, so I had to make a few before I put the rest of the panels on. No big deal, just a couple of 2x4s. I make L-shaped versions, slide them, you can see the grooves already. Yep, just hammer them in there. This panel, it's kind of free floating right now. You can see me kind of not too comfortable with the whole situation, but anyway, just threw them in place, and then I spin the panel around and nail it to the roof. Easy peasy. There you go, spin the panel. This was pretty straightforward. The roof was very solid. These 2x12s, of course, are you know, a little bit of an overkill, whatever. But it does make for a solid roof. We'll get more insulation in place, etc. So we'll be good to go. So here I'm trying to slide the panel over enough so I can get some nails into the side of the 2x4s for the kickouts, and that's pretty strong. I've seen some videos and some information about just doing straight up and down 2x4s, and that to me just didn't sound like it was enough for support, so I decided to do the little L-shaped double 2x4s for the kickouts. You know, whatever. Maybe again overkill, but makes me feel a lot better about having the kickouts spanning out 2 feet. So should be able to stand on them. So the rest of the paneling is basically 3 sheets cut in half, so it's 2 foot. The roof is 18 by 44 at this point, and then we're gonna weather seal it as best we can, you know, 99%ish. So we can move on to our next phase, which is the concrete flood on the inside of the whole house. We are having to, we're going to try to dry in as much as we can so we don't get water in there, of course. So far it's been doing pretty good. We had all these rains and stuff, and all the containers staying nice and dry. We're still going to follow through with some spray foam, seal all the holes we can see, and then we're going to do a couple of rough-ins with the plumbing, and then spray foam a bunch of the area on the inside. Weather seal some of the top here. Once we have that done, we'll do the concrete, and that's a very important phase for us because that lets us build the inside and move forward, I think, quite quickly. So Angie was being a trooper here. She got on the roof. It was probably like 54 degrees or something. You can see her all bundled up. I was pretty warm, I didn't care. And we're just putting the zip tape down, seal all the cracks. They leave air gaps between the panels so they don't bind up and get water or whatever junk in there. Anyway, that's their structure stuff, so we just went along with it. You can see the light. It's roughly 4 o'clock now, and very windy, so we're trying to be safe and not fly off the roof. But this feels really good. We're moving on here. This is a big deal to us. The roof was a very important step. Obviously, it took several weeks for us to get here, but not too bad. I mean, it was pretty straightforward doing the rafters. The blocking was a pain in the patootie, and then the rest of the stuff was okay. So almost done with the taping. That went really quick. Took us, I don't know, maybe half an hour to do all of it. Taking our time. This was a pretty satisfying side of it because we were pretty much done. And then I'll come back and weatherproof the top where you see the headers, etc. So. There's a few seconds of a real-time video. You see how long the shadows are. It gets dark early, right? Anyway, roof is done for the most part. Still have to do the trim on the left and right side, and then of course weatherproof it totally at the top area. You saw that. Next few seconds we'll show you the shot from the inside. Just a quick spin around view, and move on to our next bit of work. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk at you later. Appreciate you watching. See ya. So November 30th, Jake came over to help me out finish up the roof. Angie was over at her brother's. Anyway, it was a little bit uncomfortable doing the edge work. I'm not too fond of the ledge part, but anyway, we were trying to put the 2x4 trim on the outside. On this side we were working on right there, I had to trim off about a foot of the board for the paneling, and then we could nail on the 2x4. Just trying to hold it. It's 20-foot long 2x4, so yeah, good for me. I was trying to make it easier, but I made it kind of interesting on how we were gonna do that with two of us. Anyway, we managed to do it. I put a ladder on the yellow container you see on the right, and then just well, not temporarily nail it, but nail it to the kickouts. Jake held it while I climbed up, and then we nailed the rest of it and finished it up. So you see we're doing a 2x4. The reason it was interesting is because the paneling on the roof goes 3 inches past the kickouts. You've seen the kickouts earlier in the video probably. And the reason it's 3 inches is because they're the 2x4 trim, and then the fascia board goes on that to make it flush. But regardless, we're doing a metal roof with metal fascia and everything else, so this is all just a support structure. I mean, it could have been easier, whatever. We could have actually nailed on some of this before we put the paneling. That might have helped us out a little bit. I thought it'd be easier doing it this way, but maybe not so much. Anyway, we managed, and then we flipped to the other side, which was a lot easier and a lot quicker as well. So on the day before, I actually ran out of nails for the paneling. So you see the little white box here. I had to go buy a whole another chunk of nails for the paneling. They're 2 inches, not 3, 3 1/4, whatever we're using for framing. So and then they have ridges. They're ridged nail. Anyway, Jake's finishing up the nailing. We snap a line, or he snaps a line, and then he continues popping all the nails into the rafters. So that was a little bit of catch-up work, and then we flip over to do the trim work on the other side. So the kickouts on this side were past the paneling. It's actually flush with where the 2x4 goes. We just had to see what we're doing, and this is LSL 2x4. It's still bending a little bit. You know, the structural stuff. It's probably better than a normal fir or pine 2x4, but we still had a little bow in it, so we had to make sure it was going to be level with the paneling, etc. So here I am doing that, and then I think I pre-nailed. You didn't see this on the video, but I pre-nailed in the middle, and I'm going to have to cut that out because I missed my mark. So it's a little low, and here you see me nailing it. Whoop! Lost a clamp. See me nailing it more towards the kickout. It's because it was bowed, and I couldn't put any pressure on it without the nails. So here we are. I'm going to try to pop a nail out, and I'll use the Sawzall to cut the nail off and then reset the 2x. So here we're adding the 3-inch pieces to the roof. The roof is roughly 44 feet wide. You saw us cut off about a foot on the other side, and that's because when I was doing the 16 center rafters, the kickouts were 2 feet, which doesn't coincide with 16 center or anything. So anyway, we kind of I missed a mark on the exact nailing, and we had to offset the panels from the other side of the roof, and now we're adding 3 inches on this side. I hope all that made sense. Anyway, we're just cutting the 3-inch trims right there. We played with it a couple times because we didn't have a straight edge up there. It would have been a lot easier just to cut it on the table saw and make 3-inch pieces. And then Jake got a bunch of sawdust in his eyeball, and then he was gone for a bit. So anyway, in a few minutes you'll see us cutting a hole between the kitchen living room containers to the rest of the house. That was exciting. So this is a big step. The roof on the living room right above us is now dried in for the most part, and I'm starting to cut out the paneling. This whole wall, 18 feet of it's going to disappear, but we're making just an access hole right now so we can actually walk through the entire building. This is a big step, of course, because now once we cut these walls out, which we'll do, like I said, 18 feet right there, it's all going to go away, the bottom and the top container. And then we're going to have getting ready for the concrete flood that we're going to have in the entire building. And I got some prep work to do there. And before that, we might even buy one of those portable spray foam units. I forget what they call them, but they're 2 tanks. They're kind of like a disposable tank setup, and you squirt the foam where you need it. There's no point in us buying or doing anything extra than that. But that'll let us seam the containers, all the gaps that are in the bottom of the containers and the sides. We're going to fill those. And then get it ready for the concrete. I have some structural work to do there for where the doors are on most of the containers. Whether I'm going to weld up the doors or put a metal trim piece in there to control the concrete, I'm not 100% sure yet, but we're coming up with that idea right now. So anyway, this is a big deal, very exciting. But now we can move around, etc. And huge step for us. So here we go, last final cuts, and then we basically kick and bang it and pull it out, and we have access to the rest of the containers. Yippee! Anyway, big deal. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Hope you keep following. Now the fun's going to begin. As soon as we get the concrete in, the big work starts, and I think it's going to be fairly quick. Get the wall structures in place, etc., and then later on some windows and fun stuff. Anyway, appreciate it. See you later. Bye.